What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching the Ragin Ronin review. I got a review for you. Last Wednesday, I watched The Walk, and The Walk is the latest film from director Robert Zemeckis. And Robert Zemeckis is most known for his work on the Back to the Future trilogy, Castaway, Forrest Gump, and also Flight, starring Denzel Washington. This time around, he's directing Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who plays real-life French high-wire artist Philippe Petit. And Philippe Petit is most famous for his high-wire act between the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, which took place in 1974. Now, this is a biographical drama, so what happens in the film really took place in real life, which makes it even more exciting. Now, this film is based off a script written by Robert Zemeckis, Christopher Brown, and also Philippe Petit himself, as the film is also based off of the book that he wrote, To Reach the Clouds. Now, this film, I gotta say, is quite outstanding. It is broken up into 3 acts. The introduction of Philippe Petit and the inception of the idea of walking across the Twin Towers. The second act consists of planning it out, which consists of a lot of details. And the third act is, of course, the walk itself. So this film is very, very progressive. It just gets from more interesting to more interesting to more interesting to insanely intense. Now, of course, like I said, the build-up for this film is really about the walk. But just because the walk takes place in the third act of the film doesn't mean that the rest of it isn't interesting. In fact, what happens in the first and second act is just as important and just as exciting, well, not as intense, but just as interesting as what takes place in the third act. And the main reason why is because of the great cast. And of course, the great direction, but the cast is really what makes this film. Joseph Gordon-Levitt nails Philippe Petit. I mean, figuratively, not literally, but he nails the character. I think that what he did, both as an actor, you know, perfecting the French accent, as well as high-wire walking, was completely flawless. Like, I don't really know how a French accent really sounds. I mean, I'm not an expert on French accents, but it was quite convincing. And as for the high-wire act, I felt that it was all done by him. Maybe some of the stuff was done by stuntmen, but for the most part, I think maybe 95% of it was done all by him. And his training in the high-wire walking really paid off, because I really believed his character as being able to pull off the high-wire act. So that was pretty awesome. And what I also love about this film is the supporting characters. For example, Charlotte Le Bon, Ben Kingsley, James Badge Dale, Clement Siboni, and also Cesar Domboy, to name a few. They were all very necessary for this this act to take place, because there's so many little details, and that is why Robert Zemeckis totally does such a great job in this film. It's all his little attention to details, because high-wire walking, at face value, we just think of it as strapping 2 wires across maybe 2 trees and just walking across it and not falling. That's what we think of right away. But there's so much planning involved that's what takes up the entire second act of the film. There's all these little technical details which we never would have thought about, but they tell it in such detail that it just really is engaging. And that's what really makes this film work. You would think that, oh, it's just about a guy trying to walk across the Twin Towers, and then, you know what, you should only go into the theater at the last act of the film, all right? It's not that. You got to watch the movie from beginning to end so that you can get invested in the characters. You want to care for these characters. You want to care for what they believe in, and the passion and the wanting to achieve this goal. And what you have here is actually a story of inspiration and a story about achievement and reaching one's goals, not because you should do it, is because you really want to do this, because you can. All right? And nothing is stopping you. And that's what I think that's the theme of this movie. It's that we have to pull this off because I want to do this. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, and I want to really pull this off. So that's truly conveyed in this film. But what's the best part, of course, is the walk itself. And let me tell you something, this film needs to be watched in IMAX 3D because this is some of the best 3D that I've ever seen. It's kind of vertigo-inducing, all right? And what I mean by that is that, like, if you are looking directly forward and then suddenly the camera just tilts downwards, you really feel that depth, as in that sense of height. You know, you really feel like you're really, really high, and that you know, when they drop things by accident down from the top of the building to the bottom, you really feel like, oh, that was a close call. So that's what really makes this film great, because it's a very technical film. They really had to make the audience believe that you were right up there with him at the top of the building. And I believe they did do a really good job pulling it off. And this is a film, like I said, that needs to be seen in IMAX 3D. If you don't have an IMAX theater around, at least watch it in 3D. It needs to be seen in 3D. I think that by watching it in 2D is you're not doing yourself a favor by really experiencing this immersive experience. This is one of the best 3D I've ever seen in film. So it is great, okay? I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. Now, the main reason why it wouldn't get a 10 out of 10 from me is because of, okay, there was a little part of the direction that Robert Zemeckis decided to go with, and that is to have Joseph Gordon-Levitt narrate the film as Philip Petit. It kind of took me away from the film just a little bit, because if he's narrating the film, that means he pulled it off successfully. And I just want to be completely immersed into the story. I don't really need the film to cut back to him talking to us and breaking the fourth wall. I don't really need that. I felt that kind of took away from the movie. Like, it worked at some parts, but then in other parts it kind of took me away from the film, and I just felt that it should have been a more linear process. But anyways, it was still great. I mean, the film itself, when you take that away, is a really, really outstanding film, and like I said, have to see it in 3D, okay? Anyways, I'm gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10, and if you want to step away from all the explosions, big action, and gunfights, and kung fu, whatever, you know, watch this film. It's a really great drama. You have some really, really outstanding characters in here, and they're characters you fall in love with, alright? So, good job on Robert Zemeckis. Outstanding performance from Joseph Gordon-Levitt, as well as everybody else, and go check it out. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this review. My name is Alex Yu. If you want to see more, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, @RaginNation. My name is Alex Yu. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. I find that Warner Brothers favors Batman. After all, they've done 4 Batmans in the past. In the Michael Keaton